Hello, this is Marvelyn Brown, your host of the Inner Word Minute, and thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about how to improve your marketing approach. So, if you have an online business, that is a little different than having an offline business. And a lot of times when we're making that transition to the online world, we have, some struggles that we might encounter because, you can't really approach things in the same way as you do in the offline world. So we're going to go through some of the scenarios, the things that you might be doing right now. And if they're not working for you, we're going to show you some things that you can do to turn that around. So this assumes, and this is going to be a video on YouTube as well as a podcast episode. So if you're, if you do better with videos or you like looking at videos more, this will be on our YouTube channel. And if you are, someone who listens to podcasts, you'll be able to listen to this as well. So this episode is going to assume that you have a product and that you have a platform, and that platform could be a blog, a YouTube channel, an Etsy store, or a Shopify store. So any platform that you have chosen to use to promote your business, that is what we're going to assume you have. And then you may also, depending on your industry, you may also have a company supplied website. And those company supplied websites are a great way for you to, have those products right there for your ideal customers to find them and make a purchase. But we got to get you an audience. We've got to build an audience so that you can have a steady stream. And that's the goal in building an audience, to have a steady stream of people who are engaged and interested in your company and what you have to offer. So you have a need. If you're a new business owner, you have a product that you want to promote, at least one product. You have a need to drum up business. You need business so that you can move your business forward. So these are the scenarios that we're going to talk about. These are some of the things that are not as effective, things that you might be doing that you need to kind of think about. And what I want you to do as I go through each one of these scenarios, I want you to think about, if you're doing this, if this scenario describes you, I want you to think about how it makes you feel when you use these scenarios. And then I also want you to think about, what are the results you're getting from using these scenarios? So let's go through these really quickly. So are you routinely reaching out to tell friends and family, all the people in your network about your products and services? So are you letting them know, either by email, or maybe you're calling them on the phone? Maybe you're having lunch and you talk about your products and services. Maybe you're having meetings. A lot of people do like Zoom meetings and things like that. Or, they just basically reach out and say, hey, I have a business. Now, are you doing that? And when you do that, how does it make you feel when you are reaching out to tell your friends and family about your product or service? And then what are the results that you're getting from doing that? Have you tried selling products and services to someone who has made it clear that they are totally not interested? So if you're emailing or you're direct messaging or you're calling people on the phone, what are the results you're getting with that? And then how does that make you feel? Are you feeling, good when you do that? When you are actually, emailing people? And what I mean by trying to, sell products and services to people who are not interested, that could be your friends and family. That could be total strangers, maybe people that you're reaching out to on social media. Maybe you're spamming people with email. A lot of people will buy, for example, to get their business started. A lot of people will buy a mailing list. They'll go to a company and say, I want people that fall into this category. And then the company will supply them with a list of people that they can contact. So if you're reaching out to people in that way and trying to sell them your products and services, how does that make you feel? And then how effective is that approach? Are you spending money on ads that don't seem to be catching on? So are you, maybe using Facebook ads or Google ads or in some way you're going out and you're buying ads and maybe you're not getting the results that you're looking for. How does that make you feel? Are you spending money that is disposable income, or are you taking your last dime and going out to try to, get some, customers into buy your products and services by using ads? And if so, how does that make you feel? And then what are the results that you're getting? Are you trying to talk people into buying from you? So, and this is what we do sometimes with our friends and family. We try to convince them, that our products and services are great. And, if you just try this, or if you just look at my presentation, or, I'll give you a sample, or I'll give you a discount. Are you trying to talk people into buying your products and services? And there again, how does that make you feel, and what are your results? And then, are your friends and family avoiding you because they don't want to hear anymore about your new product or service? So when you're, talking to people and you're just continuing to talk and continuing, and every time someone sees you that, you're asking them to have a home party, or you're asking them to buy your product or service, or you're giving them your business card, that means that, if people are avoiding you when you're walking down the street and they go the opposite direction, or if you're calling people on the phone and no one is returning your call, that means that they're tired of hearing about your products and services. And that happens to people as well. People have actually lost relationships because they have, kind of been a little too persistent or too enthusiastic about, promoting their business. And so it's great to reach out, and I think that it's not necessarily that you reach out, but it's the way that you reach out. So when you are starting a business, of course you want to tell your family and friends. Of course you want everyone in your network to know what it is that you are doing. However, if you become overzealous and you are just constantly talking about your business and you're not really balanced with it, or you're not giving people an opportunity to make kind of a decision on their own, then what you end up doing is you turn people off. So you end up running away the people who you are trying to, to get to come to your business. So I've just talked about some of the disadvantages of doing this, but let's go through this list. So when you are running your business in a way where you have to go out and, try to talk people into buying your products and services, you end up relying on this as a way to run your business. And what ends up happening is you're not allowing people to make their own decision. And you will find out, we're going to go through, a scenario in a later slide that kind of tells you why you don't want to do this. And the other thing that you do when you run this, when you use these kind of methods, is you hand over any confidence, any power that you had in a conversation to the person that you're trying to win over. So you don't want to hand over I don't want to say power, but it's like you're giving part of yourself away when you are approaching people in this manner, because a lot of times you come across as being desperate. So you don't want to come across as being desperate. You don't want to come across as someone who doesn't know what they're doing. And so if you are using these methods, even this is the thing too. So depending on what industry you're in, you may even be coached to, use some of these scenarios, but it really doesn't, at least from my experience, it really doesn't help. It doesn't help your business to come across as, spammy, or someone who's too persistent, or someone who actually ends up becoming annoying. So people, number one, are not interested in getting a phone call to buy something. So if you're having phone calls and you're reaching out to your family and friends, and that phone call, the basis of that phone call is to try to sell someone something, that is a big turnoff. No one wants to buy that way. We don't buy, as consumers, we do not buy based on a phone call anymore. That may have been effective back in the day, but it is no longer effective in the year 2022. So you don't want to hand over your power, or you don't want to, you don't want to take your confidence and, put it on the table for someone to say, yay or nay. You want to only talk to the people who are interested in saying yay. The people who are saying nay, you don't want to come in contact with them at all. And at some point, even the people who say, nay, they say no, at some point in the future may say yes if you come across as professional, if you come across as confident, then that's going to help you to win those people over more than, getting on the phone and trying to talk them into something. And these approaches are not leverage. So when you use leverage, what that means is you take your platform. So you have your blog, your YouTube channel, your podcast, your Etsy store, your Shopify store, whatever platform, your company supplied website, you take those and you use those as leverage. So that way, those platforms will do the talking for you. Those platforms will do the selling for you. And so the only time you have to really talk to someone is if you want to talk to someone. If you are the kind of person who loves going out and talking to people about your business, what ends up happening is when you leverage and you use your platform for leverage, that platform will sift through the people who are not interested. So that way you don't have to really be bothered with anyone who is not interested. The only people, and what it does is it sifts through the people who are not interested and sends them somewhere else, and then that system or that platform will bring in people to your business who want to learn more. So they will have a place to go to learn more about your business. If you don't have a platform and you're kind of just using your product and you're getting on the phone and calling people, that puts you at a disadvantage because you have no leverage. But when you have a platform that you can send people to learn more about your business, to buy your products and services, and to get those educational pieces and to learn more about why you are the best scenario, then you don't have to, be out there. It doesn't put as much pressure on you to be out there actually trying to drum up business. And then, there again, this whole scenario of approaching people versus letting them approach you takes away your confidence, and it can really make your business a lot more stressful than it needs to be. So these are some of the things that, you can do to start getting results. So let's talk about how you can turn that around. If you're using some of these approaches and they're not working for you, then you want to start doing something different. You want to let those approaches go, and you want to start incorporating some of the things that we're going to talk about on this slide. So this really should be, these are not really in order, but this really should be the first step. And that first step is to choose a niche. And I have a video that I did that actually walks you through how to choose a niche. So I'll put that below this video. And then on the podcast, I will put this in the show notes. But you need to choose a niche, and you need to learn as much as possible about that niche. And you need to learn as much as possible about the people who fall under that particular niche. And then you need to basically, learn as much as you can about your potential audience. Who are the people that you are interested in reaching that fall under that niche? So if you have a product that you've already selected your product, then it falls into a industry or a niche. And so those are the areas that you need to focus on. And once you learn about your niche and you learn about the industry that your product falls under, that's going to tell you a lot about the kinds of folks that you want to reach with your business. So you want to know your audience. You want to consistently focus on your audience. And that should be your goal when you're starting your business and you're trying to build an audience. Really focus on those folks that you want to work with, the people who are in your niche. And then the thing that you want to do is you don't want to be selling. So you need to change your entire approach, your language, the words that you use in your sales and marketing materials, the words that you use in your social media. All of those things need to be reflective of your knowledge of your audience and your focus on that audience. So, for example, we'll just use the example here in this picture. So we're going to assume that you have a business where you are selling clothing, you're selling fashion, you're selling style. And so you have some jeans that you want to sell. You want to, you want to sell people on the benefits that they're going to get from wearing your jeans. So maybe you focus on how great they fit. Maybe you are focusing on jeans that fit. And let's just break down the niche. So let's start out with the niche. So we start out with the industry is like the retail industry. So you're selling maybe clothing under the retail umbrella. And then you have various types of fashion. So you have luxury fashion, you have middle of the road fashion, and then you have value fashion. So there are different types of customers or different types of people who are going to buy those various scenarios. So if you are trying to sell jeans in the luxury category, who are the kinds of people? And you really need to, describe the kind of people who are going to be buying your luxury apparel. So your luxury apparel is, the materials are the best materials. The fit is impeccable. And you use these words and these phrases so that your ideal customers can envision themselves getting some kind of result or some kind of benefit when they wear, luxury clothing. Whether it's the prestige or the way that they fit, the way that they make them look, the way that they make them feel, all of those things. And so those are the kinds of things that you focus on when you are thinking about selling jeans. And there are people who are so into, brand names. And so you think about when you're promoting, you want to promote the fact that you have maybe certain brand names, or there are also people who are really into like cruelty free, vegan type products, organic products, things that are good for the economy, not the economy, things that are good for the environment. There are people who want to wear clothing that also falls into that category. So you can break down your niche and focus in and really drill down and pay attention to the kinds of words and terms, and you can even go to some of the competitors that you might have. So if you're someone who is selling, cruelty free apparel, then you might want to go out and do some Google searches and really see what some of the high end brands are saying about cruelty free apparel. If you are trying to sell more value based apparel, then you might want to go to some of the value based apparel companies and search their website and just see what kind of terms and what kind of phrases, what kind of pricing. Look at what your competition is doing and then use some of that. I'm not saying copy what they're doing, but use some of their strategies, because some of these high end and larger brands spend lots of money on market research. And so they know the right words and the right phrases to use to get people to buy their products and services. And so you want to tap into some of that as well. So you want to educate versus selling. So in the previous scenarios, when we talked about that first set of ineffective methods, what you're doing when you're, when you're running out telling everybody about your products and services, what people hear, whether you intend for it to come across that way or not, what people hear is that you have something to sell. And so you're out there, promoting and trying to tell people about your products and services, and all they're hearing, is that you have something to sell. And sometimes that can really turn people off, because this is one of the big truths about sales and marketing, and that is that everyone loves to buy, no one wants to be sold. So when you start talking and you're using those phrases and those terms that tie in with selling, that give people that scenario, when you're talking, in their mind, they're envisioning that you are selling. That is just, they don't even hear what you have to say. When you are educating people, when you tell them something that they didn't know, that helps them to understand more about why they want to buy cruelty-free apparel, or why they want to buy high-end apparel, then you are actually, you're taking that wall down that people build up when they start hearing you talking about selling stuff. So when you're selling stuff, people throw up walls. They don't want to hear it. They're not as receptive as when you are giving them something of value. So people value learning something that they didn't already know, that helps them to make a buying decision without being salesy. So hopefully that makes sense. So you definitely want to, once you have taken care of this side of the page, you know your audience, you know your niche, and you are focused, you are consistent, with your communications, then you can focus on this side. So thinking about serving your audience. Once you know who that audience is, you want to serve that audience by giving them quality educational information. You want to focus on providing your audience with ideas, with quick wins, things that they can do to get results really quickly, and you want to help them solve problems. You want to attract an audience. So when you change your wording and your phrases, that will enable you to start attracting those people who are interested in your niche. So the more focused you are, believe it or not, the more focused you are, the more laser focused you are on your audience and who you're trying to reach, the better you will be at making that connection. And when you are using the right keywords, those keywords have to do with your language, the jargon that people in your industry use, the people who are in your niche. What are the kinds of things that they might be saying, or what are the words that they might be typing into Google when they want to find out about your product or service? And the better you get at, figuring out those keywords, and also figuring out the jargon and the phrases and the terminology, once you, get all of that down pat, you're going to start seeing a change in your business. So you go from someone who is practically begging people to buy their products and services, you transition into the professional who knows what they're doing, who knows what I'm looking for, who understands my problems, and someone who can help me get results. So that is the transformation that you want to make in your business. So of course, the advantages of doing this have to do with the way that you come across. When you come across as a professional, people will self-identify. And what that means is they will say, yes, I am in that category. I am interested in your product and I want to learn more. And the way that they do that is by signing up. If you have opt-in forms on your blog or on your Etsy shop or your YouTube. Now you can't really put an opt-in form on YouTube, but you can create landing pages using, like for example, Mailchimp will enable you to create landing pages on their platform that you can send people to. So if you have a landing page with an opt-in form that you've created on YouTube, you can just put a link to that underneath your YouTube video and send people over there to sign up to get more information. So people will self-identify, they'll approach you. So what that means is they'll go to your website and they will sign up. Or they'll go to your website and sign up for, maybe you have a freebie or some kind of download that gives them more information that will walk them through how to become a customer or how to become, more involved with your business. Your messages are going to resonate with the right people who would be a good fit for your business. And all those people who are naysayers or the ones who, instead of hearing a no on the phone or getting, hearing crickets in your email, instead of, kind of experiencing those things that kind of take your confidence away, you're only going to be dealing with the people who are definitely saying yes. You're going to attract a growing audience of people who like what they see, and eventually they will reach out to you and you come across as a professional. So now the next steps are basically to, sit down, write out a plan that will enable you to use the steps that we just talked about. And then also using your analytics. Your analytics are going to tell you, what is working when you send out a social media post, what is working, what is not working. When you are writing out your blog post, those analytics are going to tell you what's working, what's not working. If you're on Etsy or Shopify, you can use their data to tell you what is working. If you have a blog, you can use Google Analytics. And those analytics are really going to give you a lot of great information, about what, people are looking at when they go to your blog. What are your most popular blog posts? What are your most popular products? And that's what you need to focus on. Setting up landing pages, and we kind of talked about that. You definitely need to, if you don't have landing pages with opt-in forms, you need to get those set up so that people can self-identify. They can raise their hand and say, I'm interested and I want more information. And then once someone signs up as a lead, once they say, I am interested and I want more information, you have to have something in place that will follow up with those leads so that they can learn more about your business. So those are the steps that I recommend for you to take. And I'm hoping that this has really kind of helped you to understand how you can turn things around in your business with simple steps. They don't have to be, rocket science steps. They can just be simple steps that you can take to grow your business. And, the thing that you want to do is constantly test. You want to try things out. And if you try something out and it doesn't work, let it go, and try something new. And so the things that, we talked about at the beginning of this episode are things that you might be doing now. If they're not working, that's why I ask you to kind of think about how they make you feel and whether they are getting you the results. And if they're not getting you the results, put them aside and implement some of the things that we talked about, in the getting results section of this podcast and this video. So if you have questions, you can always reach out on my blog, and I will put links to all of that information either below the video on YouTube or in the show notes in the podcast. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Make your week productive. Reach out, ask any questions, and I will talk to you and see you next week.